maybe you have heard, but this is a topic that is near and dear to me. And it's how you can change your situation no matter what your situation is. Now, some of you might think I'm absolutely crazy. And if you do, that's okay. But I know from personal experience, especially when I was a young mom, financially devastated, back to back, working morning until night. My husband and I in a small town, literally, probably the scariest situations in my life. I had a mentor that helped me to change my situation. Now, drop in the comments if you would love to change your current situation. If you're going through something right now and you don't love where you're at, listen up, because in the next few minutes, I'm just going to share with you my experience, what has helped me to go from a state of not having any money, not being in a happy relationship, not having any children, renting instead of owning, businesses failing compared to businesses succeeding. And it's my belief that you too can change your situation. I also believe that if you have a great situation, you can sabotage a great situation and create constant sabotage and failure because of this very thing. And you're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm going to share with you how the scale of your emotions creates a vibration that is either elevated or it's lower vibration. And your thoughts are things. Every thought is a prayer. You create a current situation or a different outcome just from emotions. This is why it's so important to guard your thoughts, just like you guard your body. You wouldn't go eat poison, but we drink it every day because of what we think, what we see, what we keep reliving, what we watch on TV, what we think is real on social media, and the very conversations that we have. So if we are recreating our past day after day after day after day, I want you to think about this. If you want things to get better, you have to get better. And some people, this is hard for you to hear because you're like, well, it's not my fault that my husband did this, or it's not my fault that my kids do this. I agree with you. You can only control you, but your energies, your thoughts, your prayers every single day. And when two or more are gathered, they're even more powerful because of the belief. So if our emotions are energy in motion, would you guys agree? Our emotions, think of someone that's in fight or flight. Think back in the day, hundreds of years ago. I mean, I was laying in bed this morning at 4 a.m. thinking about this. How in the world did our grandmas survive? I just want you to imagine this. They're in the woods or they're in a cave and they literally have an outhouse to go out to in the middle of the night. The baby wakes up. They have no way to warm a bottle. They're literally feeding the baby. Just think what wimps we are compared to 100 years ago. They're in a little sod house or a log house with the gusts of winds. Like my air conditioner went out this week and I thought everyone was going to die. My transmission broke last week and we were like, oh my gosh, if you would believe it, my boat even broke down. It was a week. But let me ask you this. Is that really a problem? Because 100 years ago, nobody even had a car. Nobody even had an air condition. And nobody had an epidural when they had babies. That one really blows my mind. But here's the thing. We think certain things are problems, and we have no idea how blessed we actually are. And on a scale of emotions with different energies, when I think about today's person and the emotions they have compared to 100 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, it would have been like, oh my goodness, there's a bear in the woods. Run or don't run, protect my family, right? Today, the thoughts we have and the emotions we have and the fears that we have, we go into that fight or flight protect mode just from a Facebook post. just from something that our kids are experiencing at school, what they're seeing, what they're not seeing, what we're worried about. Our emotions are constantly living in the past or over here in the future. And I want to help you to be in the present today, right now. So if we're going to recreate the past day after day after day, we're not going to get a different result. We keep thinking about what happened to us. We keep talking about it. We keep sharing it. We want to post about it. We want to tell all the people about it, write in our journal about it. We are going to get more of that. And I've been guilty, and I want to tell you what I did. From the perspective of energy, information creates energy, correct? Are you guys going to agree with me on that? If I see someone have a car accident, I freak out, scream, panic, maybe even start to cry and go pray for them, right? If I think a cop is going to stop me and I'm speeding through a construction zone, I'm just making this up. I wouldn't do this. I would be like, oh my gosh, there's a cop behind me. I would feel that anxious energy, correct? So every one of you, and I don't know what you're going through, but your thoughts and the things that you are mulling over in your mind are creating an energy. And I actually have a chart today. It sits on my desk. I'm going to show it to you guys. I don't know if you can see this, and I don't know how to screen share on StreamYard, but this chart shows emotions. This chart shows emotions. And up here at the top is elevated emotions. And then it goes to faster emotions. And then it goes to frequency. And then it goes to greater energy. But down here, it goes to slower emotions, slower frequencies, fear, survival mode. Do you guys see the survival mode? The survival mode is like a flat line. And I'm going to ask you, how many of you right now are living in survival mode? Because a lot of people I talk to are just trying to survive. They'll say that. How are you doing? I'm just trying to survive. Oh, I'm surviving. I'm surviving. Emotions are energy in motion. And every ounce of our being is energy. And our organs are connected to that energy. And it's my belief that stress is the silent killer and disease is caused from dis-ease in our emotions. Now, I'm not going to discredit anything that's happened to you. I've been through it. I've never lost a child. Praise Jesus. I think that would be the most traumatic thing you would ever go through. But I have had times in my life where I had fear of that happening because I saw someone else experience that. Can anyone relate to this? So when Brooklyn was born, if you've read my book, you know. If you don't, you don't. But in the book, there's pictures. My best friend that I walked with every single day. We were both very healthy, pregnant. She delivered. Baby was good. Parents went home to get her some clothes. She passed away. They raised the baby. This is the girl that I walked with every day, and we were co-creating our future, what we were going to do with our babies. And she lived next door to my mom's neighborhood. I want to tell you guys something. They said 1 in 350 people would get what she had. I feared it. I thought about it every day. Even went to prayer meeting and brought it up, had people lay hands on me and pray because I had so much fear. It doesn't matter what you pray for. What matters is, do you believe that it is done, that the victory is already won? I'm not going to go down a prayer kick, and I'm not going to go down a energetic emotion kick today, but I want you guys to know what happened to me, because this is a true story. I lived this. In this photo, 1 week later, I'm in ICU with my blood pressure at 240 over 120. If you look closely in the book, you can see it. On the pillow, my eardrums are burst. I have to lay on one side with my arm up over my head to keep from having a stroke for 3 to 4 days. I can't hear the baby for the first 3 weeks. and I can barely have enough strength to take a shower. And I was a healthy, pregnant mama. In fact, I had this amazing doctor that was going to deliver this baby. I wasn't even going to have a stitch. I trained for it. I exercised for it. I was a ballet teacher. But the fear in my mind of what could go wrong literally happened to me. They said she was 1 in 350. Then it happened to me. Gets worse. I brought the baby home to Great Bend, Kansas. There was no social media. There was nothing like that. A fax machine. Barely had cell phones. But my mom had called her brothers, and my cousin was going to deliver a baby in December. She was an OBGYN. Oh my gosh, Barb got the most horrible thing, barely survived it. They're finally home with the baby. That very week, within 72 hours, my cousin got the exact same thing. They life watched her. Her baby was born 3 months early. 3 months early. He is in a wheelchair. He was very small. He was 1 pound, 1 ounce, I think. It was unheard of, 35 years ago. But I will tell you, I believe, and I changed the way that I think. I do not watch the news. I do not read any crap. I do not discuss anything that I don't want because it scares the hell out of me. So I want you guys to think about this. You don't like the situation you're in. You don't like what's going on in the world. You don't like what's going on in your family. You don't like the things your kids are doing or your grandkids are doing or your in-laws are doing or your children, whatever it is. Maybe I said children twice. I don't know. My reality is what I believe is going to be my reality. And I'm a believer. So I believe when I pray, it is finished. The victory is already won. God's going to bring me the right people. God's going to heal that child that's struggling. God's going to take care of whatever the sickness is. I'm not going to fear it because it ain't happening. And I'm going to tell you this because I'm 55 years old and I've learned over and over and over and over again that this scale of your emotions creates a vibration in the cells of your body. And when you have fear, it is not a good vibration. When you have joy and love and forgiveness and hope, you think about having a baby or your wedding day or the day you first kissed your husband or winning the lottery or being completely healthy or whatever it is that you desire, your frequency is on another level. And when you get stuck in fight or flight, you feel like the person in the woods that just saw the bear. You go back into like caveman mode, right? I got to protect. I got to protect. Now, I want you to think about this. If every emotion that we feel is either a good vibration or a low vibration, all of the energy commingled creates how healthy you are. So it is a proven fact that most of our thoughts go in the past or in the future. Does anybody know how many thoughts we have in a day? Because this is crazy. Somebody Google how many in your subconscious mind, how many thoughts you have in one day. I'm not making this up. It's science. How many thoughts you have in a day? Majority of them are a fear of the future or an anxiety from the past. A fear about what's going to happen in the future or an anxiety or an emotion about what's happened in the past. So none of us are really living in the present moment. I have 4 of my 5 grandkids in this house right now. I have prayed for this moment. I have believed that this moment would happen. I have had it on my dream board. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I didn't think it was going to happen. But here I am with all of them together for the whole week. We have laughed. We have played games. They beat me in Uno. We went all on a tube. We made so much food. We went on walks. We went on bike rides. We took the golf cart and saw baby deer. We caught fish. Everything that I dreamed would happen happened. And most people would have said impossible. Never going to happen, but it did. Now, there have been a lot of emotions in my life around that particular situation. I'm not going to talk about health. That's a whole different thing. But when you have things happen in your family life, with your kids, with your grandkids, your marriage, your previous marriage, whatever, that's right. TA, 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And 90% of them are not about today. They're always about the past and what happened. And we keep recreating the past. So if your attention is on everything that's not right now, how are you going to design a new situation and change the one that you don't want? Well, where your attention is, you're placing all your energy. So let's say that you say, I know I'm going to lose everything. I lost my job. My credit cards are maxed. Gas is $5 an hour. The sheriff is delivering subpoenas. They're going to freeze my account. Or maybe you say, I owe the IRS, whatever it is. A lot of people have a lot of financial trouble right now. Yes or yes? I think so. In 1996, Dave and I had a lot of financial pressure. And I remember my mentor saying, action cures fear. Action cures fear. So what I want you to do, I want you to take action like it's already happened for you. I want you to act as if you don't have a bill in the drawer. I want you to act as if your account reflects exactly how much money you need. I want you to believe with emotion, not a memory of something, not the mail you just opened, not the worst case scenario that could happen, but today, everything is good. Everything is good. Good things are going to happen for me today. In fact, if you look on my wall, what does it say? It says, good things are going to happen to me. Good things are going to happen today. It's everywhere in my house. And the verse that is everywhere in my house is, for I know the plans I have for you, not to harm you, plans to prosper you, plans for hope and a future. And I hang on to that in every house, on my visor, in every room, in every house, in every car, on my checkbook, everywhere. I am claiming that. Now, I want you guys to think about this. If you have emotions of being abused, if you have emotions of losing a vehicle or being in foreclosure, if you have emotions of being fired, failing an exam, if you have emotions of performing on stage and you forgot your solo, that's a real fear, I can tell you. If you have emotions of childbirth and it was terrible because that was my first, right? You hold on to the fear that might happen again. It's going to keep you from having victory. I might fail in front of everyone on stage. I'm going to get up to bat and I'm going to miss the ball. I'm going to get ready to speak. I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to forget my whole speech. Whatever you think, you're going to recreate. So I want you to think of this. If your attention is constantly in the energy of the past, those emotions keep recreating everything you don't want. 85% are negative, worry related. Jamaica's looking it up. 85% are negative and worry related. Wow. Now I want you to think about this. Is worry and fear a high vibration or a low vibration? As a consequence, what happens is you're siphoning all the energy out of the present moment. So my grandkids are here and we could be having fun and we could be going on the Ranger today. We're in Kansas. We drove from Oklahoma to Kansas. We could go down by the river. We could go to town. There's this awesome park that has a zip line. There's a carnival in Hayes. That would be fun. They would love to go to the mall, but we don't have one anywhere around here. 3 hours. All the fun things that we could do. Let's say that I was worrying. Next week, we have an appointment at Children's Mercy. Oh my gosh. How are we going to get to that appointment? How much is that appointment going to cost? What's going to happen at that appointment? I wonder what the doctor's going to say. What if it never gets fixed, right? So if I'm thinking about what's going to happen next Thursday and I'm not thinking about what's going to happen today, am I in the present or am I in the future? Because if I had 100% of my energy and 80% of it to 85% of it was worrying about what happened last time. Oh my gosh, last time we went to the park, she fell off the zip line. Oh my gosh, last time we went to the carnival, I ran into so and so. I would be thinking about the anxiety of running into so and so, or I'd be thinking about the fear of the danger of what happened last time. I couldn't even really focus on today. I wouldn't be present. I wouldn't be a good mom. I wouldn't be a good grandma. I wouldn't be a good wife. I wouldn't be a good mentor to any of you. I wouldn't be a good CEO. I wouldn't be a good sister. I wouldn't be a good mom. I wouldn't be a good whatever I am to people. So if you want things to get better in your life, you first have to get better. And it starts with recreating our emotions that we're having right now. I'm reading these comments and it's crazy because so many of you have had a similar experience. So when you're thinking of a past event and it's involving a person that did you wrong, and you know you're going to have to see this person, you have a certain energy, right? So what happens is if you're going to be in a certain place at a certain time and that certain person might be there, as a consequence, you're siphoning all your energy out of today and you're putting it in the future. And you're worrying about things that may never happen anyway. Fear, my husband used to have this hanging in the kitchen, and he would tell my son Chance this every day. He was a wrestler. And if you know a wrestler, they're just badasses. That's it. If you can wrestle, you can do anything in life, period. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So Dave was a wrestling coach. And he did this with all of his athletes. Imagine yourself on the mat. You won. Maybe you pinned the kid. Imagine yourself. Close your eyes. You have your hand being lifted in front of everybody. You are the champion. Now, I want to tell you guys something. This is real. This is a true story. I wrote the names in calligraphy around the entire gymnasium of every wrestler that ever made it to state. David Pitcock, 135 pounds, and then their record, right? Dave was the coach, and we hadn't had a state champion in years. And we live in a town of 2,000 people. And Dave siphoned the energy every night at practice to the present moment instead of how bad they got their butt beat last week or what might happen next week. And every practice before they started, they visualized themselves getting their hand raised and becoming a state champion. Now, I want to tell you guys, the odds were against us. Everybody thought Dave Pitcock was crazy. We should be running. We should be cutting weight. We should be doing the takedowns. We should be practicing the chicken wing. We should be, doing sit-ups or push-ups or sweating. And Dave would spend a lot of the time visualizing. And that year, we took 13 kids to state. Hadn't been done in decades. And we had 6 or 7 state champions. And my son was one of them. Now, I want to tell you what happened. First of all, they made Dave paint his hair pink because that was the deal that they made. But it made the news. Best team we had had in years. And I want to create a team like that. Do you guys want to be a team like that? Or do you want to be just average? I need you to focus your attention to predict a future that you know will be good instead of siphoning the energy out of what you're doing right now because of something that happened in the past. I want you to think about all of the energy right now being in the now. All of the energy right now, every cell in your body, every ounce of your being knows that there's nothing to worry about. Everything is already taken care of. Your finances, your health, your relationship, your child that's struggling, the fear of a relapse, the fear of a child. Yesterday, a good friend of ours, child had to be put in a psych ward for thoughts of suicide. And in my brain, I'm like, I said to Chance, if you knew how many people and families are going through that, they just don't want to tell anyone. They don't want to tell anyone because, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? It's fear of the future. It's regret about the past. It's anxiety about situations. It's low vibration that is so low, it's right above death anyway. What we need to do is help people know how to feel good now and be in the moment, changing their thoughts so that they can change their reality. Now, people used to think that it was our genes that created disease. So I could say my dad's brother was an addict, Dave's dad was an addict, his brother was an addict, all my dad's step brothers and sisters were addicts. I mean, there was 7 of them, and my dad's one of 7 that hasn't been jail, rehab, still addicted, struggling, or suicide. So I could look at that and say, oh my gosh, it's genetic. It's got to be genetic. But here's what I will say that I believe. You know, Dave's grandpa died at 50 of a heart attack. My grandma died at 60 of cancer, ovarian cancer, right? So if I had the fear, I would be like, oh my gosh, I got to get everything taken out. And when you look at Dave's mom, oh my gosh, I better get these completely cut off my body, because I would fear that there was going to be something like this happen to me based on what has happened in the past. This is just my own belief, and I've studied this a lot. We used to think that our genes created our health. Now they say the odds of you developing heart disease just because someone else had heart disease is, you would say that would be pretty high. But now they say the science of epigenetics, not Barb Pitcock, but epigenetics, says our environment, because we grew up in the house where we ate the same things, because we grew up in the house where we did the same things, because we grew up in the house where we feared the same things, actually creates a lot of that reality. So if this is true, I mean, Dave's grandma was 95 years old and she smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day, but she lived in the country. She joined the Peace Corps. She played cards with her friends every day. She went to Arizona when it was cold out. She was a snowbird, hung out with her friends, had fun, did what she loved. She just didn't stress out about a lot of things and lived to be 95. But Cindy had 4 sisters, and I will tell you, a lot of trauma, a lot of stress, a lot of things, and environments that created so much trauma and stress. We saw things reoccurring that I personally, just my belief, I'm not a doctor and I'm not an expert, but I've studied this a lot. I think things that happen to us and the way that we talk about them, and we keep talking about them, and we keep reliving them, and we hold on to grudges. We hold on to grudges, and we're not going to forgive these blankety blank blanks, and we're not going to get over it, and we're going to get even. We're going to expose them. I can remember Dave's mom being so traumatized by something that happened to her child that she spent a lot of her life wanting to get even, like a mother bird. Like, one of these days, I'm going to expose that woman. And I remember one day Dave and I said to her when she was very sick, Cindy, it was us that she hurt. Why are you sick thinking about how this woman is going to pay the price? She said she felt like she watched someone drown her baby, right? I mean, that's a real emotion. That's traumatic, right? That's traumatic. The CEO of the first company that I was ever a part of, they had some investors that came in, and they had a top leader that was a top leader. It took them from 12 million to 150 million in 18 months. And there were some falling outs, and they were publicly traded. And then they had to have some capital and some investors, and this amazing company that we were in, it was 17 years old with new people in office and one person exiting. It was bankrupt in a matter of months. And this is something else that I really think about. I remember one day all the leaders were saying certain things that were going to happen. And I remember her, Jana. When the woman died, her family sent me all of her suit jackets. They hang in my closet. They remind me of the woman I want to be. So forgiving, so loving, a fair opportunity, equality for all, a compensation plan that would give back, a woman that loved everyone. She would tell you, like, let me help you. I see you're struggling. Don't take this wrong, but I want to help you get better, Barb. Like, you can't be like you are and lead a big team. She would tell me what I needed to hear. But that day, she said, Barb, what the leaders speak will be the fruition, no matter what I do. They will speak this into fruition. And they did. And I remember one day I was in a limo with about 12 of them. A lot of egos, a lot of anger, a lot of fear, a lot of opinions about what was going on in that business. And I remember looking at every single one of them. And I was about 25 years old and they were all about my age, 55. I was the youngest and one of the top 3 earners in the whole company. I remember looking at them and saying, I want to get out of this car. I don't want to go to this dinner with any of you. And everybody thought I was just like an ass kisser or a brown noser or whatever. Like, I was oblivious to what was happening, but I truly believed we could change the trajectory of the future with our thoughts, our actions, and our words. Yes, there's someone on here. Victor, wasn't she the most amazing soul? I aspire to be like that woman. But she was right. And a mentor of mine, Dr. Mortar, I actually dreamed about this man last night. It's so weird. Part of the reason I wanted to talk about this, like, when you pray about something, you got to think God will show you a sign, right? And I feel like this message is so important. Dr. Mortar owned a clinic in Arkansas, Rogers, Arkansas. And, you know, he was the alkalinity doctor of the company that I was in 1996. And he taught us that disease couldn't grow in an alkaline environment, but it would flourish in acid. And our thoughts create acid. Think about this. When you have bile, when you have acidic stomach, when you're, oh, I'm just sick about this, people say, I'm just sick about this. Well, change your environment, change your thoughts, change your conversations. He said to me one day, as I was walking with him in downtown Chicago, why are you drinking that Diet Coke? I said, because I don't want to be fat. He said, you think you're fat? I said, yep. He said, keep drinking Diet Coke, you'll always be fat. And I said, how is that? He said, because what you think about, you bring about. And you see yourself a certain way, and that is how you will always be. Now, there is a study. Now, I'm going to go geek mode on you here for a minute, if you guys are okay with this. There is a study. You're not going to believe this when I tell you this. When you change your environment, it actually changes everything. So I'm going to read this to you. We used to think that genes created disease and that we were at the mercy of our DNA. This is not me. This is out of a book. Pesticides, cigarette smoke, all the things, of course. But we don't think about what goes on outside of our cells. And our cells have energy all around them, right? So what is that? The energy all around our cells is our emotion. So think about this. Think of the body as a finely tuned instrument that produces proteins. And every one of our cells, except red blood cells, makes proteins, which are responsible for the body's physical structure, which means, am I healthy or am I not? Am I fit or am I not fit? Am I fluffy, I would say. For example, muscle cells make specific proteins known as actin and myosin, and cells make proteins collagen and elastin. Immune cells make antibodies. Thyroid cells make, this is not my level, thyroxine, and bone marrow cells make hemoglobin. Some of our cells make keratin, while our pancreatic cells make enzymes like protease, lipase, organ or a system in the body that does not rely on or produce proteins. They are a vital part of our immune system, our digestion, our cellular repair, the bone and muscle structure, you name it, they're a part of it. And in every real way, the expression of proteins is the expression of your life and the health of your body. Now imagine this, guys. There were people, this is a true study. In order for the cell to make a protein, a gene must be expressed. That's the job of the genes, to facilitate making proteins. When the signal from the chemical is accepted by a receptor outside the cell, it makes a way to the DNA inside the cell. This is the deepest of all deeps Barb Pitcock has ever been. There was a study done, and the study was done in Tacoma, Washington. And I want to show you this graph. This is not me. This is science. If you were miserable in your old job, but you managed to get a new job, you might be happy for a few weeks or even a few months. But if you had spent years conditioning your body to be miserable, your outer environment might have changed, but your body will always believe its internal chemistry more than its external conditions. So it remains locked in your old state of being miserable in your old emotions. That's just another way of saying you're still living in the past. And because that internal chemistry hasn't changed, you can't change the expression of your genes to make a new protein in order to improve the structure or the function of your body. So there's change in your health or your life. That's why I say you have to think a greater way to feel or make anything real. In the winter of 2016, an advanced workshop in Tacoma, Washington, performed a study on the effect of elevated emotions and what they had on an immune system, taking saliva tests from 117. You guys are going to be scared about your thoughts by the time I get done. 117 test subjects were in the workshop, and they measured their immunoglobulin, their IgA protein marker, for the strength of their immune system. IgA is an incredible, powerful chemical, one of the primary proteins responsible for a healthy immune system. And I want you guys to think about 4 years ago, how afraid everyone was, how stressed everyone was, how fearful everyone was, how scared, angry, divided, pissed off, isolated, all the things that we were, right? It is so powerful in this study that it's better than a flu shot or immune booster. When your stress levels go up, the stress hormones, the cortisol go up, it lowers the IgA. It lowers the IgA. You guys can message me and I can send you the link to the book. During a 4-day workshop, we asked our study participants to move into an elevated emotional state of love and joy. We inspired them. We practiced gratitude, which I tell you guys to do every morning and every night. We put it in words and emotions. We journaled it. Our students regulated their genes for IgA simply by changing their emotional state. This is why when I go to church, I'm like, I wish I could go to church every day. Some people don't need that. For me, it's not even the sermon. It's the music. It's the praise and worship. It's the getting up and dancing. And I know people think I'm nuts, but I always tell Dave, let me hold the baby so I don't look crazy when I'm rocking back and forth, because I want to move, right? I want to move. I want to get my hands in the air. I want to pray. I want to be participating in this high vibration. My dad disagrees. He says it's a horrible church. I need to be quiet in the house of the Lord. He thinks it's bad. I just let him think what he thinks. What works for you, works for you. What works for me, works for me. But I'm going to tell you this. If I start every day with gratitude and joy and love and forgiveness, and I project what I want, even when people are trying to bash me, destroy me, write bad stuff about me, start rumors about me, take down my ideas or my dreams or my business or whatever, guess what, guys? I just pray for them, because I don't want to be in that low vibrational state wherever I put my chart where it's flatlining. I don't want my immune system compromised by someone else's misery. How do you change your current situation and get something different? In this study, where they only changed the difference in their emotions, 49.5% raised their SIG-A, and 16.25% lowered their cortisol, which is survival emotion. And the whole world right now is in survival emotion. So let's change that. How could we change where your attention goes, your energy flows? So there is a chart. You guys can screenshot this chart. This is crazy. Where you place your attention is where your energy goes. Let me move it over here. If you screenshot that. Here it shows if I am thinking about my enemies and what's between me and my enemy is what emotion? Hate. Look up the vibration of hate. Look up the vibration of hate and ask yourself, do I want to be sick and die? Do I want to have disease? Or do I want to have love and joy and gratitude and forgive these people, not for them, but for me, so I can get a different result? So I can get a different result. When you look at these emotions and you ask yourself, how in the world am I going to change my situation? Your inner world of thoughts and feelings is creating your outer world of what you're going to get. The book is Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now, I'm a believer. I want you guys to know I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. I do not believe in any of the new age thing being more powerful than the God that I serve. I want you to know that. But I do believe that God created me and every energy and every cell and everything on this planet. And I do believe that he wants you to have happiness, and he wants you to have love, and he wants you to have joy, and he wants us to forgive, and he wants us to be able to live a life with peace of mind. Now, here's the reality. Most people aren't living that. When you have two people with the same emotions and the same energy, and they're together, this is why it works when two or more are gathered and they pray. That energy is compounded. And I'm going to tell you something most of you are not going to want to hear. The people that you are around and the environment that you are in and the conversations that you have and the crap you listen to. You know, some people argue with me, Barb, TV isn't bad. News isn't bad. I have to know what's going on. Do you? Do you really? Let me ask you this. How does it make you feel? Good, joy, love, happy, or the opposite? Because Dave's mom was so perplexed about someone in office, it's literally all she talked about. She was so perplexed about a senator and a governor in California. I thought she was going to lose her mind. I didn't even know how to say this person's name, and she thought about it 24/7. Now, God love her. Dave and I took care of her for many years. There was nobody that was ever happier, had a smile on her face, singing zippity doo-dah, loving on her grandkids, making good food, reading a book to the babies. She was the most amazing grandma in the world. But this unresolved conflict that was down inside stole so much joy. And it's part of the reason why I believe 100% that frequency is the future of people being well. They're just starting to learn about it. But when you change your frequency, it changes everything. Look up the frequency scale of emotion and ask yourself, how am I going to get out of this thing that I'm in? You know, there was another study, and it was done in Ohio. And the study in Ohio had a bunch of people that played a piano, and they learned to play a certain song for 6 weeks. And I had a bunch of other people that never touched the ivories, never had a piano. They sat in a room and they imagined the piano and the keys and the music. All they did was listen. They never touched a piano. Look it up. Look it up. Look up the study of the people that played piano and imagined playing piano. Do you know that the people that imagined it had as much success or more in the competition as a musician because of what they saw themselves doing every single day. Here's another one. This one, I told Chance I'm trying this. I'm trying this. There is hope for me to have abs like my children. They all have six packs. They're all ripped. Their bellies look like a washboard. I mean, Callie was pregnant. She would be like, I still have abs up here. Just ripped. These kids are just, it's got to be genetic, right? I don't know. The book said there were people that did a workout with a trainer for 6 weeks. And there were other people that did the exact same workout mentally. They imagined themselves doing the ab workout. They imagined themselves working their legs. They imagined themselves. And do you know that when they tested the ones that laid and imagined it with the ones that actually did it, they got the same results because the mind told the body what was actually happening. I don't know. I got to try this, right? Because, wow, how could that be real? Here's another thing. There's another study where they put a cast on like 20 people. And the people in the cast would lose all of their muscle, right? Dave was in a cast when I got with him and he rescued me. If you haven't read the book, you need to, because literally he was an angel dressed in athletic shorts with a cast on his whole leg and 2 crutches, literally rescued me out of the worst relationship. We ran away together. He was just a busted up bull rider. But let me tell you, that hot little cowboy took off that cast on his leg and it looked like a bird's leg. There was no muscle there. It was just a pencil. And Dave's a pretty fit guy. But you know, in this study, they casted all these people's arm. And the people that were casted that didn't do anything, when they took it off after 6 weeks, their arms had no muscle. And the other people that they had imagining that they were still working out with the cast on, when they took the cast off, their arm didn't change. It still had all the same muscle mass. How could that be? How could that be? This is not my philosophy, but I want you to think about your checkbook. Think about your checkbook. Could it work with your checkbook? I don't know. Maybe we should try it. Think about your business. It's working in my business. I'm just telling you, it's not me, it's God. Every thought is a prayer. Every prayer is answered. And every day I say, it must be the mushrooms. It must be the Frequence. I'm over here just like Frequence is going to be a household name. Everyone is coming to Frequence. Everyone is joining. Everyone is getting great results. Everyone's income is going up. Everyone is happy. The culture is amazing. The people are so kind. We don't have any drama. We kick the drama out. We don't allow any gossip. We're rising. We're vibing. It's the most incredible family. I say this every single day. And guess what? It's the most incredible experience I've ever had in my 30-year career. You want to know why? Because I'm speaking it into fruition. I'm thinking about it. I'm saying it. I'm practicing it. I'm doing it. And you know, my son Chance, he was on the boat the other day and the kids are getting on the tube and we're driving to get gas and the wind is blowing and he literally opens the book and he's like, Mom, listen to this. And he reads it to me for like the 5th time. And I go, that is so good. He's like, yeah, I've told you this like 5 times, Mom. It's the same page. It's the same book. And you want to know what happened? I actually went and picked up the book and I read the book. And you know, sometimes there are certain people in my life, in my family, that have had patterns or habits or situations. And everyone around me will say something like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Or everyone around me will think or believe something. And they think I just live in la la land, right? In la la land. And I do, because I know what I want and I'm going to get what I want. And I say it every single day. I speak favor. I speak forgiveness. I speak love. I speak opportunity. I speak healing. I speak dreams coming true. And even when it's so far-fetched and everyone else might be, I don't know what she's smoking over there. I don't know what Kool-Aid she's drinking over there. I'm going to tell you guys something. We're passing everyone. We're passing everyone with our statistics. We are crushing it with our product testimonials. We have more leaders having more success than I've ever had in a 30-year career, and we're a 3-year-old company. And you want to know why? Because when you see it first and you believe it before you see it, you believe it's already happened, and you act as if you're the best. You're ahead of the rest. You're right on time. You're not behind. You don't need anything from anyone else. Everything's going to work out perfect for you because it already is. You're not fearing the future. You're not anxious about what happened the last time. Don't even use the word PTSD. We're not even going there. God is a prayer. You say, thank you, Jesus, for bringing me all the people into my business. Thank you for the perfect relationship. Thank you for success in my new adventure. Thank you for incredible health, favor over me. You know, one of my mentors that I love all of his books said, when you pull into Walmart and the very front parking lot is there for you, you're like, thank you. That's favor. Favor just follows me around. And there's other people that pull in the Walmart parking lot. They're like a-hole, jerk. They're hammering their horn. Like, I just want to be like, is that helping you? Because you're just creating more disaster in your life. Even if it's bad, even if a jerk did pull out in front of you, even if someone did take your parking spot, even if someone cheated on you, stole from you, talked shit on you, posted something bad about you, stole your downline, sued your butt off. I don't know what's happened to you, but everybody has trash, right? What I would say to you is the best way for you to change your current situation is to lay in complete quiet. Last night at about 4 a.m., I was laying in my bed, brand new $15,000 air conditioner sitting right outside my window. And I was like, I didn't think damn air conditioner broke 15 grand, right? I thought, it's so quiet. This new air conditioner is so much quieter. I bet the air quality is better in my house. I was coming up with everything good, right? Because really, there's a lot of other things I would have loved to spend that money on. I didn't think about everything that went wrong this week, and I'm not going to talk about it. I don't care that the transmission broke. I don't care that the air conditioner went out. I'm so grateful that I am alive, that I have breath when a lot of other people don't, that I have my family in this house. Not all of them. I could be sad, not all of them, but a bunch of them, right? You've always got to be talking about what's good. So let's drop in the comments before we end this. We have about 1 minute left. Drop in the comments real quick. What's good in your life? What's good in your life? The best way for you to change a negative situation is change your environment, change your conversations. Even if you just go to the park, just get out of the negative circle. Even if you just go to church, even if you just go on a drive, listen to a good podcast, turn on your favorite song. Man, yesterday, Chance was driving us home and a new song popped up on the screen. He goes, Mom, Keith Urban has a new song. I said, no way. He goes, yeah, it just dropped today. And the new song was not a new song. It was an old song from when I was a little girl. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know every word to this song. I started singing the song in the back seat. My voice is gone. My grandkids are probably like, oh my God, our grandma's so weird. And I felt different. I was thinking about my grandma. I was thinking about how much she loved me and how much fun we had. I was thinking about how I used to clean all the trailer house rentals with her. And I was thinking how fun it was when my grandkids this week were cleaning all the rentals with me. Like, it doesn't have to be a trip to Disney. It doesn't have to be a $15,000 birthday trip, right? You can have fun in your kitchen. You can have fun in your backyard. Today, we're going to go to the park right after these calls. We're going to go to the zip line. When I go to that zip line, I remember the week that Dave's mom was in hospice. It was the week of Halloween. We couldn't take all the kids up there all the time. We wanted to get them out of the hospital, but some of us wanted to visit her. So we would always go over to this park and we would go on the zip line. You know, some of the saddest days of my life are sitting in that park, a block away from the little house we lived in big house we lived in before we moved to the country. It was the first time I took my little Callie to the park. She was 1 week old, stood right there by the jungle gym. I think about that when I go there. I could also go there and think about the loss of someone that I loved and all the days we sat there crying and praying for a miracle. Do you know what, guys? Environment, it's a different trained thought in my mind that I want a different result. I want happiness. I want joy. I want health. I want blessings and favor. And if I want that, I can't let my emotions be what happened in the past. And I definitely can't be worried about what's going to happen in the future because I can only control the state that I'm in, the emotions that I have, and the vibrations that I'm sending to every ounce of that energy between every cell in my body. And I'm going to encourage you. You don't know the damage that you're doing, but you're doing damage with every conversation, everything on TV, everything that you're reading, everything that you're talking about that is not serving you. And if you don't want more of it, stop talking about it. Lastly, this is what I'm going to say to you. Whatever is bad, pray about it more than you talk about it. And pray as if God already has the victory won. It is already taken care of. They're lifting your arm. You're the champion, just like Dave's wrestling team. The muscle is there, just like the ones in a cast that never could lift a weight. They just imagined it. Do that with your business. Do that with your marriage. Do that with your children. Do that with situations where you're so perplexed and just see it playing out in a movie exactly how you want it and act as if. I hope today has helped you. I know it really helped me, and I'm grateful that I have a son that keeps me on track with my personal development because I could go down a rabbit hole really, really quick and I could live in fear. But instead, I take action because action cures fear. And I hope that this week you will take action on your thoughts, your environment, your conversations. Be very mindful of what you let in because what you let in must come out. And it also stays stuck in every organ of every cell of your body. Drop in the comments what you got from today. And do me a favor, hit the share button or tag a friend that you believe could be helped from this episode. My name is Barb Pitcock. If you're new here, every Saturday morning, No Guts, No Story. I got to go jump on our corporate call as the CEO. I can't be late, but I hope you guys have an amazing day. And I'll see you next Saturday on No Guts, No Story.